What is going on, Raptors Nation? It is Luca here, back with another video. Hope you're doing well. So, I wanted to make a video on the Scotty Barnes situation, which has been getting a lot of traction, it seems, today. Obviously, Scotty Barnes making headlines for what he did at the end of the Raptors Spurs game. Raptors were getting blown out. There were still 3.8 seconds on the game clock in the fourth quarter, and Scotty Barnes left the bench early and headed for the locker room. So I'm going to talk about the situation, give you my thoughts, and then I would love to hear from all of you. Before we dive right into it, do me a solid, guys. Hit a like on the video. It helps it a ton. And please subscribe to the channel for more Raptors content just like this. So it was a very rough outing for Scotty Barnes. I mean, he was only an assist and a rebound and 3 points away from a triple-double, but it was not a good outing to say the least. He only had 7 points. He had 5 turnovers. He was 3 of 15 from the field. In the star-to-star matchup between he and Wembanyama, he just got overshadowed. I mean, Wemby definitely dominated Barnes in the head-to-head in terms of the stars going at it here. As Scotty Barnes just didn't have it. You know, his body language I thought was off all game, wasn't aggressive. It looked like he was shying away from taking it to the Spurs when Wemby was doing his damage. Scotty didn't look to respond, and he was just playing a very, very flat game, I felt, from start to finish. So, off night from Scotty. To make matters worse, not only did Scotty Barnes have a bad game, but he did leave the bench early and he headed for the locker room. Now, this was an interesting situation because it was speculated if the Raptors were going to discipline Barnes, because if you guys remember, a similar situation happened during the 2019-2020 season, the bubble season, when Pascal Siakam was benched one game after he did something similar. He had fouled out and then he left the bench early. So this is what was said today about the incident, and I'm going to be reading you guys some posts now on X from Josh Lewenberg, TSN's Raptors beat reporter. So this is what he said on X. R.E. Barnes leaving the bench early. Rajakovic chalked it up to a misunderstanding, said Scotty thought there was a shot clock violation and game was over. They spoke this AM. Darko told him he needs to have better awareness as a leader, but team doesn't feel discipline is required. Lewenberg went on to write, Darko said Barnes regrets his actions, is taking accountability. Scotty spoke to media after. His words, body language didn't entirely reflect that. There were like 2 to 3 seconds left, pressed on it. I don't know. I left the game early. I guess it was bad luck, mistake on my part. Those are the words from Scotty Barnes. Then Lewenberg put this out, saying that Rajakovic said he and the coaches met with Barnes this morning and, among other topics, talked about channeling emotions the right way during games. Scotty asked about the meeting. He said, no, we didn't have no conversation about that. So this is pretty surprising and a lot of confusion. And really, if you just take this at face value, not a good look at all for Darko, because it seems like Darko tries to cover up for Scotty here, and then Scotty ends up saying, yeah, we didn't have any conversations about that. So both sides saying two different things, making for a mix-up, making for another just wrinkle here in what has been a crazy up and down season, rough season for this Raptors team. And now they have this to deal with. Now, I first want to talk about Scotty Barnes doing what he did by leaving the bench early. I don't think it is a good look, because at the end of the day, Scotty Barnes is the face of this franchise. The Raptors basically restructured this entire roster in less than a year to put Scotty Barnes in a position to be the guy. And I'm a big Scotty Barnes fan. But Barnes doing this, it just doesn't come across as a good look. He can't be doing something like that. Now, if it was an honest mistake, then you let it go. But Barnes just has to do a better job of taking it upon himself to try to be the leader and deal with his emotions in a better way, because we have seen it where Scotty Barnes, you know, he's complaining about a call, doesn't get back on defense. It's happened quite a bit. So, Scotty, you just hope he can learn from this, because it isn't a good look when your all-star, your face of the franchise, is walking off the court when there's still time to be played on the clock. And I know you could just say there's only 3.8 seconds, the game's done. But again, it's not about that. It's about setting the precedent and setting an example for your team. But at the same time, I understand that Barnes is only 22 years old. He's gone through a wild season of his own, you know, having his leap come in the same season where the Raptors have gone through major changes. Obviously, there's an adjustment period here for Barnes to now adopt this new role and be the guy. So there is going to be a learning curve. And, these are things that he can really look hard at and learn from. And that's something that you want to see from this situation. If Scotty Barnes learns from this, we can all move on. But if this continues to be a reoccurring theme where Scotty's body language is off, he doesn't set a good precedent or example with just, his demeanor and how he carries himself, and then that's when we got to have a bigger conversation about it. But for now, this is one of those things that happened. It went, and we'll look now to see how Scotty Barnes responds to all this. But then the other part of all this is the whole Darko Rajakovic thing. If Darko came out and flat out said that they had that type of conversation with Scotty, and then Scotty said they didn't have that conversation, that's a terrible look. And if that's in fact true, then Darko Rajakovic has to be accountable of, standing on his actions and not saying something to the media that isn't in fact true. So just a big disconnect there. And you just hope it resolves, because right now, I mean, the vibes are not good at all. They haven't been good for the last couple of seasons, it seems, with this team. Obviously, this has been a huge transformational year, but this is just another thing that's kind of just added on to the negatives, it seems, with this team. So hopefully the Raptors can move on from this. Hopefully the culture starts to get better, the energy shifts, because right now, I know the Raptors are going to rebuild. They're going to lose a lot of games, but what you don't want to see is when the Raptors don't come out, don't fight at all, don't play hard like they did against the Spurs, and everybody just seems disconnected with one another, and the culture doesn't seem good. That's when a huge problem starts to arise. So hopefully the Raptors can bounce back from this, guys. They're going to be taking on Pascal Siakam and the Indiana Pacers tomorrow. We'll see how Scotty Barnes and the rest of this team looks. But yeah, I'm curious to hear, what are your thoughts to all of this? Let me know down below, guys. Hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. That is it for me. It's Lucas signing off. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe.